Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ॐ ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथामाग्रधत्वस्य सिद्धनम् पूर्वं नेवेह कर्माणि विजिविषेथ गुंतमाः एवं स्वहिनान्यते तोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे असूर्यानामते लोका अन्धेन तमसा वृथाः तागुंस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये केशात् महनो जनाः अनेजदेकं मनसो जदीयो नैनद्देवा भावतो ज्ञानस्येति तस्मिन्नपो मातरिष्वा ददाति तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य वास्यतः
Clarifications. In last week's introductory class on the Īśāvāsyopaniṣad, you explained the term Upanishad by breaking it down as Upa plus Ni plus Sat, where the root word Sat means to sit, both physically and mentally. You also mentioned that since the nature of the mind is samshaya, and that samshaya being gone signifies the mind's mental sitting. The term Shad implies the state. Question: why did you describe the nature of the mind here specifically as samshaya rather than astira and chanchala, unsteady or oscillating? Because it appears that it is the oscillating mind that sits, that becomes steady at the feet of the Guru. Could you please clarify this distinction? The quality of the mind is astira and chanchala. But in the introduction, I said samshaya is the nature of the mind. Shad means that samshaya is gone. Logically speaking, it is the oscillating mind that should sit. So we should have said it is the astira chanchala aspect of the mind is gone to sit. Why did we use the word samshaya? This is the clarification. Now, the very doubt here indicates lack of shraddha. The doubt here is not the doubt of you hear a sentence, you don't understand the sentence, you have a doubt. Another thing is lack of shraddha. Here, the word doubt implies lack of shraddha. You follow the difference. The qualification for the Upanishad is shraddha. Opposite of Shraddha is the mind wavering. Why the mind wavers? What is opposite of Shraddha? Shraddha means no emotional state of your mind can disturb your conviction. Shraddha, again, Shraddha means no emotional state of your mind can take your conviction. That is called Shraddha. Shat means a person who doesn't have that. Therefore, whatsoever the emotional state is, the conviction doesn't change. That is Shraddha. Now, in the case of a lay person who has not yet fully prepared, the fluctuations, the doubt brings the Shraddha down. When the Shraddha gets down, obviously oscillating, wavering, all that will happen. So here the samshayam as in, not as in doubt in the English sense of the term, it's a very unique meaning. You follow? The very Īśāvāsyopaniṣad itself is going to come with a very unique meaning. Each and every word that we use here is going to have a very unique meaning, which we introduced last week itself. I said it last week also. The unique meaning is you take the dictionary meaning and you look at the Upanishad meaning, it will not be the same. So we try to study it from a different angle, which is what when we did the ISA retreat, I introduced it by saying, we will get a sample of what is the Vedic style of analysis, Mimamsa style of analysis. There we did just one or two things. We didn't go into the full details here. Here we are going to go into details as much as I can remember, not the full one. So every week I'm praying, God, I should remember. I should try and remember more and more and more. So as much as we can remember, we'll go. Mimamsa analysis. So samshayam here indicates lack of Shraddha. Samshaya itself means lack of Shraddha. That's all. Samshayatma pranashyati. The person who lacks Shraddha will perish. So here the word samshayam will be given the meaning of lack of Shraddha. The very general meaning of the word samshayam is doubt. So we say doubting mind, wavering mind. Doubting what? Doubting the authority of the scripture. Doubting means doubting the authority. There are two kinds of doubt. We have seen that in some other places. There are two kinds of doubt. One is you don't understand and then you ask for clarification. Another is you doubt the authority. One thing is the authority is established, but what is being said is not understood. That is one way of samshayam. Another way of samshayam is understanding is there, but lack of shraddha in the scripture, in the authority. Now here, shad implies what? The very meaning of the shad implies there is a conviction in the authority. In that sense, there is no samshayam. That doesn't mean whatever he says is understood. Still, he will try to process, he'll try to understand, come up with some clarifications, etc. All that will still happen. But that doesn't mean he has samshayam. Are you able to follow the difference? Upanishad asks questions. The Upanishad student also will ask a question. Because question is being asked, we will not say this person is doubting. Because this person has shraddha. Elsewhere, we call it as vichara, pujaniya vichara. Pujaniya vichara means an inquiry which is worshipfulness. A worshipfulness inquiry. Because most of the time, when you question, you doubt. And what is the doubt? You doubt both. The authority is also questioned. The knowledge is also questioned. Are you able to follow? The authority is also questioned and the knowledge is also questioned. Now, when you go to the doctor, there are two things. When you go to the doctor, there are two things. What are the two things? One is the authority. Another is his knowledge, his expertise. Now, you can question the knowledge and expertise, but you can't question the authority. Most of the times you question the authority. So when we say Shad here, it means the person doesn't question the authority. In that sense, the meaning of the word Shad, Samshaya, means lack. He has full, he or she, whoever it is, the person has full Shraddha. Okay. Okay. The very word Veda itself means knowledge. Knowledge means all kinds of knowledge. It can be any knowledge. All knowledges are Vedas. Wherever there is knowledge, it will be given the status of the Veda. It may not be in Sanskrit language, doesn't matter. You take the knowledge of the physics in an English language, we will still call it as Veda only. So Veda technically means all kinds of knowledge, all branches of knowledge. And this knowledge itself is divided into two, para and apara, from the Mundaka. This distinction we get from the Mundaka Upanishad. Parachaiva paracha. Now, all other knowledges is called apara, lower, and then there is another knowledge called para, the higher. Apara means the words. Apara means the words. Para means the enlivener of the word. Apara means the words. Īśāvāsyopaniṣad is a group of words. That's all. What is Īśāvāsyopaniṣad? Or what is any Upanishad? It's just a group of words put together. That's all it is. It is apara. Because Upanishad itself calls itself as apara, we are able to say this. Because we don't have the authority to call the Upanishad as apara. Upanishad calls itself as apara. Because Upanishad itself calls itself as apara, we are trying to understand what it is. It's not a false humility statement. It's trying to bring a distinction. What is a distinction? A group of words put together, and clarity on the group of words put together itself can make you believe that you have knowledge. No, it is apara vidya. It is lower. It is low. It is definitely knowledge, lower knowledge. Another meaning of the word lower knowledge is it can help others, but it may not help you. That is lower. You have a knowledge, and that knowledge is helping the others, but the knowledge that you have is not helping you. So as far as you are concerned, you don't have knowledge. You follow? A person can talk about the ill effects of smoking, and listening to him, a few has quit smoking, and this man continues to smoke. What would you call that as? He has knowledge, but that knowledge is of a lower category. Why? The knowledge that he or she has not brought about a transformation within. Therefore, Veda means knowledge, and the knowledge is of two types. Here, we are talking about a distinct kind of a knowledge. In order to make the distinction, the word Upanishad is used. We are going back to the word Upanishad again. Last week, we thought we finished, no? And then we went into Purna Sapada, at least Upanishad, the mantra will start. Now, again, I am going back to the word Upanishad. Last week, we divided the word Upanishad into three. Upa plus Ni plus Shad. Today, another distinction. Upani plus Shad. There is another meaning to the word. Upani plus Shad. That becomes another meaning to the word Upanishad. When you combine Upani plus Shad, it will have a slightly different meaning to it. Ultimately, it may all come to the same point, but then we want to explore as much as possible. And Narayana, Upanishad will give us scope to show off. Other textbooks doesn't give this much of scope where you can show off. Upanishad, you can show off as much as you can show off. And more you listen, more and more we will show off. So switch off very soon. Otherwise we'll keep continuing. So there's another meaning to the word Upanishad. Upani plus Shat. Now, what is this word? Upani means, the word Upani reveals this is where the analytical methodology comes in. Whenever you analyze a word, you need to understand it as primary meaning, Vachyartha, Lakshyartha. There are ways of analyzing the word. Primary meaning, secondary meaning, implied meaning, the praise. The praise. He is a great man. Great is the word that implies praising. That's all. Are you able to follow? So whenever the word is used, this is how we want to analyze the Vedic words. And this way of analyzing the Vedic word is called Mimamsa. In some other places, we don't go into these kind of detailed analysis. We give a very general meaning of it, and then to create an interest. Having created some interest, we will go into the deeper meanings now. So what is the primary meaning, secondary meaning? And sometimes the primary meaning will be different. The secondary meaning is what would be implied. Sometimes you take the secondary meaning, it will become absurd. This entire analysis is done, this entire methodology is done taking that word Tattvamasi. It just took 3 words, Tattvam Asi, and some 900 verses of explanation on these 3 words, Tattvam Asi. Taking the primary meaning and establishing how the primary meaning is correct, and then taking the secondary meaning and proving how the secondary meaning is not right, taking the implied meaning and say it is like, after a point of time, you feel like, why are they even talking so much? As though they don't have anything. Whole day they don't have anything else to do, so they take up these things and they do. Say, no. Shraddha comes only when you do these kind of deep studies. When you do these kind of deep studies, Shraddha comes in. Because you have done a deep study in the science of medicine, you have Shraddha in the field of medicine. Supposing you have not done that kind of a deep study, you will not go to the doctor and get convinced. Like, isn't it? Few days back, I was in the hospital. So I was seeing those MRI machines and this machine and that machine and all that. I was walking up and down. I was thinking the people come one after the other. They are coming in, going into the machine, coming out, going into the machine, coming out. I used to think, from where did these people get this Shraddha to go in and come out, go in, come out, go in? From where do they get this Shraddha? Because that much of deeper study has gone into it, that gives the Shraddha. Supposing if they have said, there is this machine, first time we have discovered it, and we are trying to explore, we want volunteers to come. Who will go? Nobody will go. See, we want volunteers to test. Who will go? At least I will not. I will not. You know, when the train was discovered first, we need passengers, isn't it? We need passengers. Now, whom to test now? So, most of the time, who the testings were all in the beginning for all the research purposes? The prisoners of war. The prisoners of war, those who have been sentenced to death, all this, because you go into the train, God only knows whether it will stop or not. God only knows whether it will derail or continue. Now all that study, everything has happened. Today we have a strong established system, and all that the doctor has to write it in a piece of paper, and the fellow closes the eyes and go into the machine and come out. I was standing there pacing up and down thinking, Upanishad abdirna, how nice it will be. If only a single person get a conviction in the Upanishad like that, how it will be. It means we have to understand that much of knowledge has gone into it. And if you have to understand that much of knowledge has gone into it, you need to study it that deeply. When you study it that deeply, that conviction comes. Otherwise, it will have a utilitarian value. Please understand, if you study the scripture superficially, there is a utilitarian value. What is a utilitarian value? Some problem of yours can be sorted. Some problem of yours can be sorted. Some issue of yours can be temporarily quietened. And then we say, wow, scriptures are working. Few days later or few months later, another problem comes. The same scripture is not able to help in that situation. At that time, what happens? The conviction in the scripture itself goes away. Therefore, such deep analytical study is required, which is what I thought we will do as a experiment in this Īśāvāsya. So this entire Īśāvāsyopaniṣad series experiment. Adukku who are the guinea pigs? Sunil, I am doing one experiment. Adukku who are the guinea pigs for that experiment? You all have signed up, huh? Yes or no? Shrikant. Correct. I know quite a few. Subramaniam, Vijay, they have no choice anyway. They're all brainwashed so much that wherever we say sign, they will sign and go. Because that much of Subramaniam, correct? No, that much of brainwashing is done already. So sign, he will sign and go. Shraddha we want. Are you able to follow? The Shraddha we want. And for Shraddha to come, we are trying to expand it as much as possible. When we try to expand this as much as possible, more and more confusions will come. Because any expansion of knowledge, confusions will come. And it's okay for those confusions to come. We'll try to address it as much as we can, so that ultimately the Shraddha comes in. And the Mahavakya of the Bhagavad Gita, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. The person of Shraddha alone gains knowledge. Now, how can you get Shraddha? Shraddha can come only when you know the system is a well-proven system. Remember, Shraddha will never come through a person. That's why the Upanishad always says, go to the scriptures, go to the scriptures, go to this. It is the system of knowledge that can bring in Shraddha. A single person cannot bring in that much of Shraddha. Why a single person cannot bring in that much of Shraddha? Some action, something of that person can upset the entire, some action of that person, some word of that person, something of that person can upset the entire apple cart. Therefore, we say, like for example, there can be a doctor with a poor character. You will change the doctor, but you will not doubt the system. Correct? There can be a doctor with a poor character. It is possible. Now, will you stop the medicine or will you change? Will change the doctor. But here you will stop the medicine itself. That's the challenge here. Why? Because that much of deeper penetration is not done. Are you able to follow? Therefore, this is the methodology, Vedic methodology of what is called as Mimamsa, which later on people didn't understand these deeper purposes. They said, oh, these people do play with words and they do this hair splitting analysis and confusing people with words. No, if you don't do that kind of study, you will not have this kind of a Shraddha. And we need to have this Shraddha. So coming back to the Upanishad word again. Coming back to the word Upanishad again. Now always remember this methodology that we are going to adopt. Wherever it is relevant, I will keep saying the primary meaning, secondary meaning and all. You don't have to worry about it now. Just listen to this series fully. And then when you go to the next Upanishad, if at all we go to the next, if we still survive, we will do a slightly different approach there. But here, just get used to this style. So what is it? The word Upanishad. Another meaning of the word Upanishad. Upani plus Shad. Upani is one and Shad is another. Now, what does Upani means? Upani means that which joins together, combiner. The word Upani means combiner, joiner. Once you give this meaning, Upani, what is it that is being combined? The two things has to be, the moment we say combined, it means there are two things that has to be, there are these two things that has to be combined. So what are the two things? What is the methodology by which combination happens is one meaning of the word Upani. Are you able to follow? Again, the word Upani means another meaning. There are, the word Upani itself means combiner, joiner. Combiner, joiner means there are two things. So there are two things that has to be combined. And when those two things has to be combined, you need to know the process by which it can be combined. Now, what are the two things? Technically, it is called Jivatma, Paramatma. Technically, it is called Jivatma and Paramatma. The Jivatma has to be combined with the Paramatma. So the knowledge that combines the Jivatma and Paramatma is defined by the word Upani. Are you okay till now? Now comes a problem. Now comes the actual problem. Divya, carefully follow. Huh? Now comes the actual problem. How can knowledge combine? Action alone can combine. Knowledge cannot combine. It is an actual action that can combine. For example, oh, okay, it's over now. But remember, but just imagine there is a glass, and in that glass there was coffee. You have the knowledge of the three things. What are the knowledge of the three things that combines? Milk, sugar, coffee, isn't it? Everywhere else in the world, they say coffee. We use the word decoction, isn't it? Yes. I don't know which language this word decoction is, but we use it. Huh? I don't know. In Hong Kong, do they use the word coffee or decoction? I think they'll use the word coffee, milk, sugar, coffee. So, no, all these three combined only that, no. So here we have three distinct words. Coffee. Coffee is a combination of three things. Milk, sugar, decoction. Can the mere knowledge, these three things put together, makes coffee? Will you have coffee? Will you have coffee? It has to be taken and physically acted upon. So it is action that gives you the coffee. So it means action cannot give you, it means the knowledge that Jivatma, Paramatma together will not give the knowledge. Something actually has to be done so that the combination happens. Therefore, knowledge is not the factor here. The combination is the factor here. Action is the factor. That's what it implies. Because if we say the word Upani means there are these two things that has to be combined, and when these two things needs to be combined, knowledge, just the knowing that Jivatma, Paramatma is one. We have heard it any number of times. Jivatma, Paramatma is one and the same. Has anything happened? We are the proof, isn't it? We have heard it any number of times and no transformation has happened. It means knowledge by itself cannot do it. Then the meaning of the word Upani, knowledge doesn't make any. It means action. It has to be told as action. But then the Jivatma Paramatma segregation is not a segregation like milk, sugar, and decoction. That it's not three separate things. If it is three separate things, then action alone can combine. You follow? Now, what is the difference between the Jivatma and Paramatma? Actually, they are not two separate things. Because they are not two separate things, it is a notion that these two are separate. It's a notion that Jivatma and Paramatma is separate, is a notion. It is not a true separation. It is not as though two separate entities that are there. That is, so this knowledge is trying to combine these two separate entities. Because the division itself is born out of ignorance, ajnana janyam. It is born out of ignorance, it is. How do you remove a notional division? A notion itself is born out of ignorance, and ignorance can only be removed by knowledge. For no action can remove the. Therefore, the division is dropped by dropping the notion. Ignorance is dropped by gaining knowledge. And once the notion is gone, division is gone, what happens? It's a figurative way of saying combining, not actual combining. Are you able to understand the difference now? Very basic mathematics. Yeah. 6th standard mathematics. This is not high mathematics. It's a very basic mathematics, these things. It is not the actual combination as in the primary meaning of the word combine. Remember we said primary meaning, secondary meaning and all. It's not the primary meaning of the word combination. It is a indirect. It is indirect. What is indirect? Combination as in removal of ignorance, as though the two which are separate gets combined. As though there are these two separate things, as though which is there now gets combined. Therefore, the word Upani has a meaning. What is the meaning? That which combines, not as in directly. That's why we say Upanishad doesn't make you Brahman. The Upanishad doesn't say, I am going to make you Brahman. The Upanishad doesn't say that. The Upanishad says, I will reveal who you are to you. I am not going to make you that. Supposing if Upanishad is going to make you that, then it's an action. Upanishad is saying it is knowledge we are saying. Knowledge means it has to reveal. Knowledge means it has to reveal. That's where in some other classes we keep defining knowledge means that which has to reveal it as it is. Knowledge means that which should reveal it as it is. After it got revealed, you may do something with it. After it got revealed, you may do something which that is not part of the knowledge. The primary function of the knowledge is to reveal. Are you able to follow? So the word upani means it reveals. What does it reveal? There is this jivatma, there is this paramatma, and then there are these two things, and these two things has to be combined. And how does it combine? It doesn't tell you a method to combine. It says there is no action by which this combination happens, isn't it? There's no action by which this combination happens. There is a method by which this combination happens. What? By removing the wrong notion. Because action means produces something. Knowledge should not produce something. Action should produce something. These are all fundamental distinctions that we need to understand here. Remember, action will produce something. Knowledge only reveals. Function. There's a fundamental difference. Most of the time we understand, but sir, action also requires the knowledge. No. Action also requires the knowledge. No. There, knowledge is secondary, action is primary. There, knowledge is secondary, action is primary. Like, you may not know the physical, chemical, biological properties of anything, still you can do something and make a product out of it. It means action only produces. Action creates. Are you able to follow? Knowledge reveals, action creates. You are Brahman. Is it a creation or a revelation? The Upanishad says it's a revelation, not a creation. From the very word Upanishad, we want to maintain this meaning. It's a foolproof brainwashing that will happen for Janmas. This brainwashing will continue into next Janma also. That much we are doing now, isn't it? We have to continue. Srikant, அடுத்த ஜென்மால கூட இந்த brain washing will continue. Action இது that much drilling we are trying to do. You follow? Now, action produces. If Brahman is produced, when action stops, Brahman will stop. Because that which is a product of action, a finite cannot produce infinite. If a finite action can only produce a finite effect. What is a finite effect? At the most, up to you are alive, it can be there. When you die, what happens? Self-realization will go. Because the capacity to perform action is gone at death, it means at death, self-realization will go. No. It is not like. Therefore, Upani means removal of ignorance. Removal of ignorance. And how does it remove ignorance? By revealing, by revelation. Upani. The second meaning of now the second word, Sat. உபனிஷத்னு சொல்லும்போது ஷத்னு சொல்றோம். அதே உபானி பிளஸ் ஷத்னு சொல்லும்போது we will pronounce it as Sat. இதெல்லாம் Sanskrit grammar. I'm not going into these details now. When you say upa plus ni plus shad, when it combines, you will hear it as shad. When you segregate and read, you should read as Sat. So upani plus Sat. Sanskrit grammar. Now, don't worry about going into the details of the grammar, because half of it I myself don't remember now. But then a few things we Sat. So if you ask any questions, I will say I don't remember. You have to go to, I will give you my Sanskrit for teacher's number. You can go and ask. That means he can still explain all that. You follow? So Sat will be pronounced as Sat. Shad will be pronounced as Sat. Therefore, don't get confused. Or we are saying Upanishad, and then where is the word Sat comes in? The Shad will be pronounced as Sat separately. Now, come to the second meaning, Sat. What does Sat means? Upani combines. Upani, we said knowledge that combines. The word sat, another meaning to the word sat is destroyer. Another meaning to the word sat is destroyer. Destroyer of what? Terminator of what? Destroyer of what? Destroyer of samsara. So sat means the destroyer of samsara. It is one meaning is last week we gave us a different set of meanings, but all will come to the same conclusion. Now here we are exploring the meaning from the different angle, and conclusion will remain the same. But if the conclusion is remaining the same, why see it from so many angles? Why see it from so many angles? Now don't ask that question again and again and again. We will keep doing it. Okay. Are you able to follow? So therefore, the word sat means destroyer. Destroyer of what? Don't say destroyer of ignorance. Don't say destroyer of ignorance. Destroyer means destroyer of something which is visible, tangible. And what is it that is visible, tangible? Samsara. Even though samsara is a product of ignorance. But then we don't say ignorance here. Destroyer of samsara. Therefore, the word Upanishad means combining something and destroying something. And this word upa has a lot of all the beautiful things in life. We bring in this word upa. The first beautiful samskara that all human beings must go through is upanayanam. Upanayanam, which is used to happen to everybody. Nowadays, it has restricted to, because of whatsoever reasons, it has gotten restricted to a small, very, very small minority of beings called Brahmins. Upanayanam is a common thing for entire humanity. It should happen. It's not only for the small sector called, over a period of time, it got changed. Today, today, even amongst the Brahmins, it's not happening. Isn't it? Even amongst the Brahmins, it's not happening. Or if at all it happens, I have seen so many people, Upanayana is done 1 week before marriage, at the age of 35. Does it make any sense? Upanayanam should happen at that age. So the word Upanayanam, the word Upasana, we don't use the word Bhakti, we use the word Upasana. Traditionally, Vedas, we don't use the word Bhakti a lot. We use the word Upasana, and we use the word Upanayana, the word Upa. Now, all this means the two things are combined. In Upanayanam, the two things are combined. The Guru and Sishya come into combination here, because Upanayanam is the meeting point. Yeah. That's where at the Upanayanam ceremony, there is a very beautiful declaration the Guru makes, which today people make and nobody understands it. So therefore, it doesn't make any difference nowadays. But then there's a very beautiful declaration though in the Upanayanam ceremony it makes. And nowadays, even if Brahmins hear that meaning of it, they will not want to do Upanayanam. Thank God we don't hear it. Thank God. Aham tva upaneshye. The Guru says, Aham tva upaneshye. Aham tva upaneshye means now I have taken you, now I am taking you with myself. And after the Upanayana is over, you don't go back to your house. Because the Guru has said what? Now I am taking you with me. And what is the indication that I am taking you with me? That's why Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi, and the mother gives the first Bhiksha, symbolically saying, I'm letting you go. Today it's a drama, meaningless drama today it is. It's a meaningless drama. But still I'm saying, do it. Something, somewhere, one man will wake up and understand all the meaning. At least for that purpose, it is better to keep it going. Still, I would recommend keep it going. Why? Because one day somebody can wake up, no? So, Upani. In Upanishad also, Upani. No, it has the same meaning. What is it? The knowledge. We say Upani means combining. Are you okay till now? Now comes a secondary meaning to the word Upani, which means Brahma Vidya, knowledge. The primary meaning Upani is combined. From the Upani, the primary meaning, now we derive the secondary meaning. Upani means now the secondary meaning of the word Upanishad. Now combine the word two words. Now not Upani plus Shad. Upani plus Sat has become Upanishad now. Now the secondary meaning of the word Upanishad is the most popular meaning. Brahma Vidya. Therefore, whenever people use the word Upanishad, we understand it as Brahma Vidya. Secondary meaning. Another meaning of the word Upanishad, which is more popular, is Vedanta. So Vedanta, Brahma Vidya, all this becomes the secondary meaning to the word Upanishad. That's why we say Veda Anta. Veda Anta. So the Vedanta is called the Upanishad. In fact, Upanishad and Vedanta is one and the same. In the primary meaning, carefully follow. In the primary meaning, it is a transformation that happens internally. In the secondary meaning, it is a group of words. We'll do a PhD thesis in one word Upanishad only. And then we'll do another PhD thesis in the word Purnam. And by the time we finish these two, we will say, sir, Īśāvāsyopaniṣad is over. We'll go to Bhajagovindam only, sir. That is far more, at least something is understandable there. What are we doing here? Rende mantra. The word Upanishad and the word Purnam, we will go back to Atma Bodha again. Because it looks like, sir, too much is complicated. We'll go back to, and then we'll start with Atma Bodha. And then we'll come back to Īśāvāsyamidam Sarvam, one mantra. And then we'll go to another. Like this, we will plan it out. Nalla irukalla? I'm thinking, maybe we can do something like this. So secondary meaning is not the knowledge that brings the transformation. The secondary knowledge is the book. The word. Book means, in the technical way, book means group of words. In the technical way, it means group of words. That is where the primary meaning, secondary meaning play will happen later on in the Upanishad. Those who got stuck in the secondary meaning are in blinding darkness, it will say. Because the secondary meaning itself is so enchanting, entertaining, you can get stuck. You can get stuck in that. So later on the same Upanishad will say, how can you get stuck? If the word can destroy samsara, all that we need to do is what? Keep playing the word. Tape recorder, it keeps playing, 24/7, it keeps repeating now, no? There is that thing, isn't it? Same thing, just go on and on and on, it keeps repeating the same thing. If the word has the capacity to destroy samsara, the word alone can? No. The word doesn't have the capacity to destroy samsara directly. The word can motivate you to pursue the destruction of samsara. So word is the word doesn't directly destroy, but it can give you the motivation to destroy. This is the beautiful meaning. For example, Trekking is a pleasure. Take that word, take that sentence. Trekking is a pleasure. Analyze that statement. It's very simple. Analyze that statement. Trekking is an action done by the body. So trekking is a function of the leg. Pleasure is a function of the mind. Trekking is a function of the leg. Pleasure is the function of the mind. So how should you actually understand this word now? Trekking is the producer of pleasure. So you have to rightly interpret it. Are you able to understand how do we interpret it? Trekking is the cause of pleasure. Trekking is the producer of pleasure. Similarly, the Upanishad does it. It's not direct. The words don't destroy ignorance directly. It destroys it in a totally different way. Therefore, primary meaning of the word Upanishad is the motivation for the actual experience. Secondary meaning of the word Upanishad is knowing the meaning of the words thoroughly. So the secondary meaning of the word Upanishad is knowing all the possible meanings of the mantras thoroughly. Now, what are we going to do here now? The first one is your problem. The first one, nobody can help. The mantras, the guru can help in the second way. Are you able to follow? Can anybody give you the primary meaning? No. Secondary things can be done. What is the secondary thing? Explain it as thoroughly as possible. The doubts can get cleared. You can get motivated, inspired. Therefore, revelation happens subjectively. So primary meaning of the word Upanishad is subjective knowledge. Secondary meaning of the word Upanishad is objective knowledge. So Upanishad means subjective knowledge and also Upanishad means objective knowledge. Here we keep playing around between these two. That's why you get very confused. Sometimes we use it as a primary meaning. Sometimes we use it in the secondary meaning. As a listener, because you have not heard these kind of distinctions before, it gets very confusing. What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? And we also don't explain it deliberately most of the times because some confusion, some doubt has to be kept alive for knowledge to sink, to seep. This is the word Upanishad. Now, currently we are studying Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. Yeah, currently we are studying Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. And now, last week we went into some technical details of the Vedas and all that, which we are not repeating again. That's not needed. All those the Vedas, the end portion of the Vedas is called the Upanishad. And then we also saw some of the mantras comes in the Samhita portion itself. Now, how can a text that comes in the Samhita portion can be called as Veda Anta? That's why the Upanishad itself, we divide it into two as Mantropanishad and Brahmanopanishad. And for the Shukla Yajurveda, the Īśāvāsyopaniṣad comes in the Samhita, early portion of the Vedas, the Īśāvāsyopaniṣad will come. The Brihadaranyaka will comes in the Aranyaka portion. That's where we say Brihadaranyaka becomes more of an explanatory notes on the Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. And then all Upanishad starts with the Shanti Pata. Now, Upanishad meaning is over fully. We will not revisit the word Upanishad. Now we are going to the Shanti Pata now. Shanti Pata, Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadhaya, Purnameva, Vasishyate. Chant panunga. Invocation.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Om Purnam Adaha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purna Asya Purnam Adhaya Purnam Eva Avasishyate. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Meaning, Om, that is whole, this is whole, from the whole emerges, having drawn out the whole, from the whole alone remains. Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. HOL படிக்காதீங்க இல்லையா? ஹோல் ஹெச்ஓஎல்னு கேட்காதீங்க. ஐ டோன்ட் நோ இல்லை. W silent எங்க? W silent no here. I don't know. Purnam. Purnam. In the initial stages of the study of this Upanishad, the first mantra of the Īśāvāsyopaniṣad is Purnamada Purnamidam. That's how it was done at one point in time. Later on, when the tradition came of giving the invocatory prayer for everything, this Purnamada became the invocatory prayer for this. So we will not read it as the first mantra, we will read it as the invocatory prayer, keeping to the modern way of studying. But then we should understand how things keeps changing in here. So everything starts with Om. Om. Om, because Shabda Brahman, the closest indicator of Brahman is Om. Therefore, the Om itself brings a conducive mental environment. Wherever we say Om, it brings a very conducive mental environment. And in Vedanta, we just don't say Om. We always say Om with something. The modern day just keeping Om, 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 Om. No, in Vedas, Vedanta, we don't say Om. Om always will be, Om will be used as a prefix for something. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. For everything, we keep adding this word Om. Why? Because this Om is seen as the Brahman, Shabda Brahman, the closest indicator of Brahman. And what is that? Now we go into this beautiful Upanishad. Purnam Ada Purnam Idam. Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Asishyate. It's a very simple word. Starting the discussion with a pronoun. You don't start the sentence with the pronoun, do you? You can't. First you have to say who it is, and later on you can say this person, this person, this person. You don't start the discussion with this and always it is the Vedas has the style of starting the discussion with the pronoun, and you must make an effort to understand what is being said there. Now we will explore the Upanishad invocation slightly. Now we will start from the very easy level of understanding, and then we go higher and higher and higher into those technical things also. First thing, the word Om will not be explored. We will not discuss the word Om at all here. Because the very word Om will be discussed in Mandukya in detail. And then if at all we study the Upanishad one day, we'll study that in detail. Because the very Mandukya talks about the Om, the A, the U, the all that comes there. Now here we straight away start with the word Purnam. First, what is the word? First we'll explore the English meaning, and then we'll go into the Sanskrit meanings of the word Purnam. First, the English word whole means it's not a finite entity. If you use the word whole is not a finite entity. First we have to understand the word whole in that sense. How can you say that it is infinite? How can you use the English word whole as infinite? That's where the first meaning of the word Purnam comes. A very beautiful introduction to the study. I tell you, this Purnamada Purnamidam can be repeated again and again and again. Nobody can say anything different from that. What the best that can be told about Brahman is said already. Later on, people can only go on repeating it. That's why all the enlightened one will repeat it. They will not say something new about it. They will only go on repeating it. And every Upanishad will have one unique word. Every Upanishad will have one unique word. Tadvanam is one Upanishad word in Tadda Tadvanam Nama in Kenopanishad. So the word Tadvanam is very unique only to Kenopanishad. The word Purnam is very unique to Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. And wherever the unique word comes, we study it we study it little bit in detail. So first the English meaning. The word whole is not a finite entity. If it is finite, something can be taken out of it. If it is finite, something can be taken out of it. And when you take something out of it, it gets reduced. Are you able to follow? If whole is a finite, something can be taken out of it. And if something can be taken out of it, the whole reduces. From the infinite, what can you take? Okay, even if you take, where will you keep it? Even if you take, where will you keep it? Therefore, the first meaning of the word whole is this. The whole is used as in the sense of reality. The whole is used in the sense of the reality. And what is the reality? Nothing can be taken out of it, and nothing can be added onto it. Apuryamanam machala pratishtam, which we read in the Bhagavad Gita Sthita Prajna portion. It doesn't add, nor does it get deleted. It is always as it always has been. That is the first meaning of the word whole. To expand it further, in the ordinary mathematics, if you take the mathematics, the whole is the sum of its total parts. The whole is the sum of the total parts, correct? Basic mathematics. 100 rupee, 1 rupee equals 100 paise. Isn't it? So now that when the sum of its parts can never exceed the whole. That is one mathematics, which we are all familiar with. This Purnamada Purnamidam is proposing a different mathematics. Something more it's adding. And that more is the beauty here. Huh? The ordinary mathematics will tell you, you have a whole number, you can break it up into parts, and then when you put it back together, it can never exceed the whole. Purnam means that extra factor is the Purnam here. It's not just the parts put together. Okay. How do you understand the secondary thing now? How do you understand it? For which some examples from from which some examples has to be given. For example, take a simple example. Two examples I'll give. One is there is a painting. We have given this example any number of times. There is a beautiful painting. What is the material cost of the painting? The cost of the canvas, the cost of the paint, the cost of the brush. So you can put a cost to everything. Material cost and then labor cost also. Give some cost to the painter, labor cost. So it means the painting and then put some profit also, because everybody needs some profit, and put some profit also. Now all these put together will give you X amount of cost to the painting. That is ordinary mathematics. But then there is a different mathematics to it. What is the different mathematics to it? There is something more that which cannot be defined by the ordinary mathematics. What is that something more? The message, the beauty, the strokes, etc. Therefore, for a painting, when the fellow says it is 10 million, the layperson will go and say, it is 10 million. The layperson will say, yes, sir. If they have too much of money, they will not know what to do with all that money. That's why they will go and buy a painting for, will any sane person buy? I will not buy, yeah? I will not buy. Why will I go and buy a painting for 10 million? And actual cost of it is not even 5,000 worth it. Because it's not golden frame, it's not diamond studded, just ordinary 10 rupee sample painting box here and 4 brushes that you got, and then you go and pay that. Purnam. Something is so unique there. Something is so unique there. The first meaning. First example. Not the first meaning, the first example. The second example. The beauty of a rose flower. You can analyze the rose flower and break it up into its component parts. You can take the rose to the laboratory and analyze the component parts of it. And when you analyze the component parts of it, there is the chemicals, there is the water, there is the earth, there is the aroma, the perfume, all the air, the sunlight, all that got into making of the rose. You can segregate it like that. Correct? You can segregate it like that. Now comes the Upanishad. Now comes the Upanishad. You put everything back. Something extra, the beauty of the rose. That will not arise. The beauty is that which is there inherently, not an addition or deletion. That is Purna. Are you able to follow? This is how we introduce the word Purnam at a very understandable level, and then we go on expanding it further and further. This is only the very kindergarten way of introducing the word Purnam, not the ultimate way. When you go to the ultimate way, we'll end up concluding how there is the Mahavakya hidden in that Purnamada Purnamidam itself. Up to that, we want to study. Yeah. There's a beautiful Mahavakya hidden here. And we'll try to extract that. So if we have to extract that, first we have to understand the meaning of the, first we have to go into the beauty of the verse. What is the beauty of it? The invisible is not a product of analysis. Beautiful it is. The invisible is not a product of analysis. Analysis means breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down. That's why we say science at some stage is violent because it just wants to tear everything, open up everything into bit by bit and see. There is a himsa in it there. There's some kind of a himsa that's happening there. Now, the Upanishad comes from a different angle. What is it? Don't break it up like that. Don't just go on, don't do anything there. See, use your buddhi and see the beauty in it. Use the buddhi and see because when one method of knowing it is to analyze everything, break it up, because the very word analysis itself means breaking it up into component parts, isn't it? The very word analysis itself means that. Now, you go to a scientist can analyze, but one thing the scientist can never find out is the beauty. The beauty as a part of the rose can never be brought out. Physical property, chemical property, biological property can be brought out. The beauty of the rose as a property, can it be brought out? In which part of the rose it is there? It's Purnam. In which part of the rose beauty is there? Is beauty a separate identity? Is beauty a separate property? It's Purnam. It's Purnam it is. Yeah, it is Purnam. So the first meaning of the first meaning of the word Purnam is the whole. The whole means the complete, the full, the infinite. Complete, the full, the infinite. Breaking it up is one way. Synthesizing is another way. Now we take the method of the synthesis, not the method of analysis. Not in the literal sense of breaking it up. Ordinary mathematics. You have 10 rupees, you give away 5 rupees, you are left with 5 rupees. You have 10 rupees, you give away 10 rupees, you are left with Sunil. 0. Very clear. You have 10 rupees, you give away 10 rupees, you are left with 0. Very clear. Very clear. Upanishad is proposing a weird mathematics which is illogical. You have 10 rupees, you give away 10 rupees, you still have 10 rupees left. This is blabbering, sir. Wait. All along it was okay. The word upani, all that seems to be all right, but this now suddenly we get into a very weird area which is absolutely absurd. But then the truth is like that. Ramatirtha says that. If logic doesn't explain this, change your logic, he says. He said, you go and change your logic. Truth will not change. The truth cannot change. You need to change your logic. What is it? Purnam. There are these two words, relative and absolute. This word relative is related to the word absolute. The word absolute is related to the word relative. There are these two words, relative and absolute. You understand that? It's a very simple word. Like Einstein's theory of relativity. There are these two words, relative and absolute. Because we have used the word absolute, you got the right meaning of the word relative. You will not say relative means Sondakarakandra word. You will not give that meaning. No. Will you give that meaning? You will not give that meaning. Why? Because the opposite gave you the right meaning. Relative means okay. Tamil la சொந்தக்காரங்கன்னா தெலுங்குல what will you say for relative? Huh? She is not saying. Narayana, what is the Telugu meaning of the Tamil la சொந்தக்காரங்க will say? Now, do we say it like that? The word relative means no. We have a very clear meaning of the word relative in relation to the word absolute. The word Purnam doesn't have anything like that. The word Purnam doesn't have anything like that with which you can comprehend it directly. Therefore, so many meanings will bring it. If there is if there is a corresponding word, it becomes easy. It becomes easy. According to Einstein, everything is relative. Related to each other. Meaning, related to each other means what? Related to each other means, number one, it is finite. Number two, it is interdependent. Related to each other means, first thing, it is finite. Second is, it is interdependent. This is dependent on that and that is dependent on this. Now, who's dependent on whom, we can never know. For both are equally dependent. And that equal dependency is called interdependent. Here, when we use the word Purnam, the word Purnam is completely different. The word Purnam has completely different. So, and he goes on playing fun with the word Purnam, 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 Purnam. Now we have to deal with other words now. Purnam Adaha, Purnam Idam. Now we have to deal with the word Adaha and we have to deal with the word Idam. Still remember, long back, I attended one of the 10-day lectures on just these two words, Purnamada, Purnamidam. Magnificent discourses. 10 days on these two words only. Oh God. At the end of the 10th day, that man said, I only touched the periphery. I'm like, enough. This periphery itself is too much. Many janmas, we have so much to understand. Purnamada, Purnam Idam. A very simple, innocuous mantra this is. A very simple, innocuous mantra, this Purnamada, Purnamidam is. It has simple. Why do we say it is a simple Upanishad? Two pronouns, Adaha and Idam. And then there is this word, Purnam, Udachyate, Avasishyate. That's all. It's a very, very simple compound of words. And if you literally break it up, and we'll continue next week with this. And if you literally break it up, what this mantra will be broken into? One noun, two pronouns, three verbs, and a particle for emphasis. That's all. I heard it in the 10-day discourse series. I was like so thrilled by that. Oh God, what a mantra it is. One noun, two pronouns, three verbs, and a particle for emphasis. Very straightforward was Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva, Vasishyate. Purnameva Vasishyate. But then when we split it, we have to say Purnam Eva Avasishyate. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. With this, we'll conclude for today. We'll continue with studying of Purnam invocation next session.